Hello, it's a beautiful day to be out for a walk at Francis Beatty Park in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're just within the city limits. It's wonderful temperature, lower humidity today, and quite a few people already out on the trail. So fun to see. This is a shared trail, so it's seen walkers and runners. Haven't seen any bike riders, but it's bikers go the opposite direction. So I've done this trail once on a bike, and I would assume that it's maybe busier with bikers in the evenings and on the weekends. So fun to see what we can find. We can hear lots of birds out this morning. We are walking on the lake loop. They didn't have tons of signs in some of the spots, but some of the spots where you really need them, they do seem to have some signs to direct you where to go. They also have some signs telling you some of the different mountain bike routes that are kind of within that loop that goes around the park, including a lake. So we crossed over the lake once, and it's inside where we're walking now. So I'm not sure that we're going to get real close to it, but we'll see as we're walking. There's a neighborhood, or multiple neighborhoods, I guess kind of surrounding this park. So there are plenty of people out doing yard work today. You can hear them mowing and things. There are some spots of this trail that are really like soft and cushy to walk on, either covered with leaves or pine needles, or as it is right here, sand. There are some spots that are quite rooty or rocky, so I've had to watch my step in a few of those areas, but it's a very well defined trail, and I love that it's so shaded. It's a good summertime trail to visit. One of the things that I've been being reminded of a lot lately is that everything happens for a reason. And I've always believed that, but sometimes it's hard to remember that. You get caught up in the moment, or you get worn down from life, and it's hard to see that while it's something that's disappointing at the time, it's for the better in the long run. So we definitely experienced this. We had a canoe camping trip planned with my dad, and we were going to be gone for 4 days, and we were so looking forward to it. And we had debated about canceling the trip because we weren't sure how Lilu was going to do, and we weren't sure how Caden was going to be doing with his things. And then the weather, we were debating because of the weather coming in, what it would be like when we were there, and then the water level that resulted from the previous rain. So we had decided, okay, we're gonna go. Lilu was doing better, Caden was doing all right, and the weather forecast looked pretty good. But a couple days before the trip, we got word that the canoes were not allowed down the river because of the high water levels. So it wasn't safe. So it's a good reason to cancel a trip. Highly disappointing, because we have been planning it for months. But everything does work out for a reason, and so we were able to enjoy our 5K with Let Me Run, and all the boys did an amazing job, and it was so fun cheering them all on as they each ran their own race and accomplished something for themselves. and we didn't have to rush out of there. We were able to spend some time playing some disc golf. I ended up being fairly sick some of this time, and so that would have been pretty miserable, being in a canoe and camping. And it works out that since Caden started school, he's now at his school's field day today, which he was thrilled about. He's not getting a real idea of what school's like, but he's enjoying school right now, so that's pretty good. So he gets to be there today. He was going to be on our trip since he had already finished his school year with me. And then tomorrow night he'll get to go to his mountain bike practice, and so that's a good thing that he was going to miss. He gets to go to Scouts tonight. He was going to miss it, and it's great that he'll be able to be there. And then for Caleb to not have to change his schedule and do sub plans and everything. And then I get to be out for a hike. So one change of event changed a lot of other things, and I still would have chosen to go on the canoe trip if we had the option, but there's reasons why we weren't out there, and safety primarily makes the most sense there. We don't want to be out there when it's not safe, so it's good, but so many reminders that everything happens for a reason, and it will always work out. And the same is true with my job situation. I had been applying for jobs, but none of them were full-time jobs, and I wasn't getting anywhere with those, and I was keeping one job, and I was getting frustrated. I didn't understand why I wasn't even hearing from these people, but it became clear it was because that's not where I was going to be going. So I ended up where I needed to be. I was available to go ahead and apply for full-time jobs, and I wasn't hearing back from many of them, and I was able to take that as a clear sign that those were not the ones for me. And then considering the options I had and where I was going and what would be best for my situations and circumstances, it was very clear that which job I needed to take, and so that worked out really well. It's not where I would have guessed I'd be or what I'd be doing next as the next job, but I'm excited about it now, and so seeing it from that perspective helps be excited for the possibilities, to know and to not miss out on all that there is for that opportunity. So, and the struggles that Caden was having, it worked out that it made sense at the time to go ahead and get him into school. So now he's going to be so comfortable going into high school, where he's not going to be worried or anxious. So it's not starting middle school at the end of the school year. To most doesn't make a lot of sense, but there was a reason that it worked out that way, and it's going to be so much better for him in the long run. It's kind of funny to be walking on a trail that very much feels like a bike trail, with all the different ramps and the way we're weaving through the trees back in this section. It feels completely normal on a bike. I feel a little bit funny just following the trail as it's going back and forth. That's a normal thing for going up a big hill or mountain, but not so much in the flatter landscape of just a forest. But it's a good way to get a lot more distance for the trail, going back and forth and weaving around. one of the things that I try to keep in the front of my mind, since I know that things happen for a reason, is that I'm not going to force things to happen. And I think sometimes there can be a fine line between choosing to not force something to happen and giving up too easily. So I try to pay attention to see when it's like, no, it's just not supposed to be right now, or that's not supposed to be the way you're going, as opposed to, yeah, it's tough. You have to fight for it a little bit. So I think it can easily be confused, but important to remember. We had a little creek crossing and some water going next to the trail over here. Always fun to have some variety. So we just passed a trail intersection. We had passed one on the other side of the lake. So I took the Lake Loop extension. So the lake loop seems to go along the lake. It cuts off a good bit of distance, it seems. So I guess that would be the opportunity to see the little lake. Doesn't seem like we're going to see it because we're kind of going away from it again now. That's okay. We're seeing other things. So when I was in college, I went in as a math major because I knew I wanted to do something with math, but I wasn't sure what yet. So after a little time, I had before deciding to go in as math, I had thought about being a teacher. Decided not to. So went in as math and then decided, okay, I want to do accounting. So I applied to the business school, and for whatever reason, there was a delay in them processing my admission to that school within the college. So within that delay, it gave me time to think more about what I wanted to do, and I went back to that idea of teaching. And so I contemplated the two options and decided that no, my heart is being a teacher. So while they were still processing my application with the business school, I applied to the School for Education and was accepted right away. They had no slowdowns. And so I was thrilled. Initially I was concerned. Why is this taking so long to process? What's going to happen if they don't accept me? Because that's what I had decided I wanted to do in accounting. And so then I was thrilled that, okay, I had changed my mind. I'm going to be a teacher. And just after that, the paperwork for the business school went through. And so then I technically had the option. Which one do I want to go with? And I wouldn't have thought anything of it if there hadn't been a delay. I would have gone into accounting, and I may have loved it. I may have hated it. I don't know. But I know I love teaching, and so that's why it happened. That's why there was a delay. There was a reason for it. So I encourage you to think about some of those things that maybe you didn't recognize at the time. There's always a reason for why things are happening. So think of some things that you didn't understand why, but now looking back, you're able to see. That's why. It makes sense now. So hindsight is amazing, right? 20/20 vision then. Definitely enjoy all the green of this time of year. Very pretty. Oh, here's our first bikers that I'm seeing of the day. often those things that we don't understand, because they're not things that we would choose for ourselves, just like our canoe trip being canceled. But I know it was easy for Caden to see the bright side. He's even getting to go to his end of season Let Me Run field day this afternoon too. He's a full day of field day. But sometimes it can be things that you don't see as a negative even, but it's just part of the plan, and then it all works together. So I had something like this recently. I volunteer with a foster care organization to support foster families and foster kids. And I had been volunteering during the days because I had been able to work anytime, and the daytime is when they needed people for help. So that's what I'd been doing. I had gone to one evening event, and so then after a little bit of time, they came to me and asked if I'd be willing to help out with some other things with the organization, but it would be evenings and weekend times. And I didn't really care. I love the organization. I'm passionate about foster care, and so I immediately said, of course, let's do it. And so they trained me up. So I was all ready to go in that, and at the same time was figuring out about my job situation. And so I didn't even make the connection immediately. Caleb was he was first to say something to me about it, but one of the things with finding a full-time job is I was very disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to volunteer in the same capacity that I have been, because that's part of me. It's part of what makes me who I am. And so by them changing or adding something else that they needed some help with, if I'm around during the day, I can still help with those same things. But now I'm there in this new position to help them with these other things. And so I still get to fulfill that passion and help the organization. And so I didn't know why there were changes, and sometimes we don't necessarily see the connection, but that ended up being a pretty clear connect the dots. So maybe there's something going on for you right now that could be positive or negative. Maybe it'd be something that you can just open your eyes a little bit wider to see what the potential is for it. Where might it take you, or why might this be part of the plan for you? So it'll make it a little easier not to miss those opportunities that are around you. Some of the sections of this trail are quite hilly. Some are very flat. All quite peaceful though today. So the All Trails information says that this trail is under 4 miles. However, I did see that others do not agree with that. People have posted that it's actually longer. So we're just under 4 miles now, and we are definitely not at the end. So I'm gonna agree with those that have posted differently. So I'm expecting it to be close to a 5-mile loop when we're done, based on what I saw from other people's information. So it's not the quickest hike to get out and do, but it's not a challenging one. It's very leisurely, very pretty. Good way to spend a couple of hours out in the woods. I am nearing the end of the trail now. Been a great day out. I was out here for a reason. I was able to get refreshed and get the fresh air. Feel good just relax as I'm moving through the woods. Have a good time. I hope you get to spend some time rejuvenating your soul today too. And I'll see you next time on the trail with Heart.